are avoidable, and then distractions that are unavoidable. For me, my distractions were going to my rotation. I mean, obviously I have to go. That was an unavoidable distraction. I had to go to classes. That's a distraction. The traffic, driving over here in traffic was a big distraction. My God, it would derail my whole focus. Unavoidable distraction. But what are some avoidable distractions? For me, the issue with electricity. Electricity will go out. Oh, don't feel like studying anymore. No, get an inverter. It's too humid. I need a less humid environment to study. Get a generator. Whatever you need to do to get rid of the avoidable distractions, do it, because these distractions are significant. Obviously, while you're studying, it's a difficult time, right? And most of the people you know are going to the beach. They're having a nice time. They're relaxed. And you're over there in misery. Hey, we're going to the beach. No, I'm going to stay home and do some
Somebody's birthday every day.
And it's hard. I have my own family, and I have to constantly, I'm pushing them also, no, we can do this, we can do this. I would visualize at this very moment when I would feel like, oh, God, it's so hard to study. Maybe I should wait till after I graduate. I would, at this moment, visualize a reality that eventually one day I'm going to successfully take this exam. And maybe right now they're laughing and joking and I'm suffering, but someday I'll be the one who pass the exam and they'll be the ones who are expressing at that time. Of course, stick to your plan of action. If you have your plan that, look, I'm going to be doing this Kaplan course in 4 months. I'm going to be doing questions for 6 months. Stick to your plan. Don't get derailed by the distractions. And if you do, have it written down. So you know, okay, by the end of this month, I'm supposed to have done this many questions. I'm supposed to have done this many hours of Kaplan or whatever. Stick to your plan. And finally, surround yourself with supportive people. You don't want to be around people who are telling you, oh, this is impossible. In the past year, I've noticed that now there's this new sort of pseudo USMLE studiers, like a coffee shop studying group. I remember when I came over here to Unibe and pre-med and I went to the library, I could see all the students who are studying for the USMLE. They're just sitting, actually they didn't really sit down, they had the things that they're just sitting there just reading. And that was the image I had in my mind, that I have to be like that. And now we have this, what I like to call the coffee shop USMLE studiers. They have the first aid in their hand. It's beautiful. You open it up, oh, it's brand new. Have you ever opened it? No, I haven't. It's beautiful. Not even one word is written there. How long have you had that book? 4 months. Okay. That's not. I don't think that's healthy. I think it's better to be productive. I'd like to touch on really quickly questions versus reading. This is something that comes up all the time. Both to me, are equally significant. Equally. Obviously, you have to read. I mean, you have to know the material, right? This is where the bulk of your time is going to be spent, But with learning, you know what it is when you're passively learning as opposed to actively learning. When you're reading, this is passive. So repetition is key. Because it's easy to read a paragraph and then afterwards you don't know anything from the paragraph, so you've got to read it again. So repetition is key so far as the reading is concerned. And the same thing goes with questions. Not only do you need to know the material, but you need to be a good question answer. Like the doctor said, there's 336 questions, right? You're sitting there, you have a block of 48 questions, and you might have that. We know that the 4 to 5 questions per block are experimental questions. I happen to get all 3 of them in the first 3 on my first block. But being a good question answer, knowing how to quickly rule out incorrect answer choices. This is significant. You need to train yourself how to read and answer questions efficiently and quickly. So doing practice questions is significant. My recommendation to you guys, USMLE World, just like the doctor said, the questions on USMLE World are very difficult. They're second, tertiary level reasoning where it's very difficult, but I think that it prepares you well. On the exam itself, I felt that the questions were much easier than the USMLE World questions, but the answer choices for me were a little tricky. And the reason why is because I didn't sleep the night before the exam. My last 2 self-assessments were 223 and 228. I wanted a 99. I wanted above a 235. I ended up with a 212, and I know the reason why. They said when you go into the exam, that in your mind, if you're getting, my friends who got 99s, Unibe students who got 99s, told me that when you're going into exam, if you know half the questions, half the answers, you're in good shape. And 1/3 of the questions, you're down to 50-50, where you're making an educated guess, you're in good shape. And then you know the rest of the questions are the experimentals. So definitely, questions are significant. How to gauge yourself while studying. This, I think, this is my second last slide here. I think this is the most significant realization I've had. When you are in that mode where you're studying any particular material, for the USMLE or for whatever else in your life, and you're studying, you want to be productive. When you study, you want to gain something. If you're studying and you feel that you're stressed, you're not studying, you're not being productive. And if you're studying and you're bored, you're not being productive. So for me, I would break it down that there's two things going on at the same time. Every particular information has its own level of difficulty. And you have your own personal level of ability with how well you know the material. So if you're studying something and you see that, oh my God, you're stressing out, you're not learning anything, that could mean one of two things. That could mean that you went too deep into the material and you need to take it back a little bit. Or it could mean that it was just something that was just beyond your ability. And you need to, again, go back to a comfort zone where you can go back to being productive again. And likewise goes with being bored. If you're studying and you're feeling bored while you're studying, the material is too easy. Take it up a little bit. Go a little bit deeper. Because you want to be productive. You want to be efficient with your time. Like you mentioned, I'm finishing here in 5 months. I started the whole residency application service. I'm taking step 2 CK and CS in the next 4 weeks. I have it so that my score is going to be automatically posted on my electronic profile for when I apply for residency. And so timing is of the essence. And my last slide, if anything, that you remember, Basil, my words of advice to all of you. That successful preparation, I believe this wholeheartedly. That successful preparation for the USMLE requires 99% determination and only 1% intelligence. Meaning that it's up to you. If you are determined and you have that daily diligence every day, you can do anything. You can do anything. The intelligence is only, intelligence has nothing to do with, relatively, with how determined. If you're not determined, you could be a brilliant person and you will not be able to accomplish anything. So I'm living proof of that. I was determined. And I believe that every single person here can do this exam. And if you have opportunities here at the university, take advantage of these opportunities. And if you have any questions afterwards, I have no problem with answering any particular questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faisal, for your useful tips. Last but not least,